I'm having this wonderful concept about, do I know what it means to be non-linear? Can you imagine that? Like, to be random, to be spontaneous, to go with the flow, to operate in other dimensions, to consider the inner side of life, the intuitive side of life, the soul side of life, the solar side of life. Man, that's how I like to roll. They told me that it came from women, in a sense, or from the feminine action of our being. But in a lot of ways and a lot of times, if that's true, then I feel like I have more of those qualities than a lot of sisters I know. I can really dig and get behind living really in a non-linear way. Because especially when I was like younger, and men are taught about to go about things with the cause and the result, and the steps and the process and all that. And yet, as I've gotten more on this path and hopefully more wiser, and through having a lot more fun, I've realized the surprise and the adventure, that's the really key to being happy, to being connected and being at peace. It's actually opened my way up to spirit, into the spiritual life, because you can't put spirit in a box. I remember my friend Ramon, who actually has passed away recently, has said that the God game is deep. And the God game, in my belief and my understanding, includes us. If we just see ourselves as humanity, and we're somehow, I don't know, apart from the spiritual dimension of life, the mystery of life, then I think we're missing the boat. And yet, the more that we can kind of follow, or as another friend like to say, I love to take things from people like my friend Ellen, who is from the first commune I live in, said we have to learn to dive into the frequency. Isn't that cool? Dive into the frequency of encounters, of things. Not just see what looks like the apparent result. And I get a lot of that through being in nature, because nature is just so enduring. It changes. It is so formidable. It has its power, and yet it's so still. It just continues on. Doesn't look like it has issues or hang-ups or ego trips, or gets butthurt about things. What our friends do, what our lovers do, what the people in our church do, our town does, our community does. We're all caught up in the human conundrum. And yet, we're really not just human, are we? We're part of this realm of mystery, which I think opens up so many doors. So that's my little spin today, wanting to poach out and kind of draw out the non-linear life as a way of being, and see what turns out for you. I feel like I'm kind of on a roll lately. I've been blessed and been able to see the inner workings of life from a completely new perspective. As I get older, I'm already 60 now basically, and yet I feel the same energetically when I was like 16, 17, or 18. Oh yeah, I can look in the mirror and go, you definitely got a lot more miles, but I don't feel that. I don't sense who I am as being like an old person. I don't know what to say, or being limited, or that my time has come or it's done. I actually feel more engaged, more capable, more in the creative spirit, more present with love, more accepting of myself, more available to the paths of others, to walk shoulder to shoulder with other people on the path. And yet, the imperfections that go along with it, we're still figuring this out. We still have things to learn. We can make setbacks. We can get ourselves up, get back up on that horsey, and ride on again. Get on that path. Follow the red road path, the Indian brothers like to say. So grateful. A lot of times I step back and I go, thank you, God, for helping me get a new car. Thank you, God, for helping me to have perspective and to get through my feelings, or to learn something from a deeper side of understanding that maybe I just wasn't in a place to do. It's opened me up to many things, to family, to people, and back to spirit. And that, to me, is just a really groovy thing. Is it only about non-linear? Probably not. There's just a lot going on. Maybe Ramon was right. The God game is deep. And life is deeper than it can be. It's not something that's the same every day, no matter what it looks like. So I always like to just push off with that. Get afloat. Get in the flow of things. see what unfolds. Because we're both being led and we're like co-directors. All right. Thanks a lot, man.